So please excuse my makeup-free face, but I wanted to talk about the Panorama programme about the menopause. I didn't really want to watch this programme because I didn't want to give them the viewing figures. With the ADHD programme where they were talking about private healthcare, and they just were saying about people being overdiagnosed with ADHD via private healthcare. I felt it was a really bad documentary. I'm feeling really sad about this one too. I think it is really important that there is more regulation, and I am all for scientific based evidence on things. I think this programme is going to set women back again. I think despite the fact that they're talking about high doses of HRT, I think the fact that they're talking about HRT and they're talking about cancer at the same time is just going to cause so much scaremongering. God, I do feel upset about this. The two ladies, devastating, obviously. And obviously they've gone to a clinic and they paid privately and they expected better. I'm not defending the clinic, and I'm not also saying that I think the clinic is in the wrong, because I think I wonder what proof there is around either of those each way. With regards to the maximum doses, and there's a lot of talk about the scientific evidence that isn't there. Let's do the research then, because you know what? It's not that the scientific evidence isn't there and there's research been undertaken. There's no research been undertaken. They're talking about the menopause market. They're talking a lot about supplements, and I don't like any supplements that literally have perimenopause or menopause blasted all over them as the cure. It drives me to distraction. However, what I will do is defend a lot of companies that were mentioned in there, because they said that there wasn't the scientific evidence to back up what they were saying, how these things would support people. But there isn't the scientific evidence for anything for women. There's no research. We are massively underrepresented with research and anything like that. One of the ladies mentions how she's been to the private clinic, and she then goes to her GP, and then she's put forward to a specialist. And what I find really interesting is this lady went for a private consultation, and let's ask ourselves why. She will have gone for a private consultation because potentially, like many others, she's been to see her GP and hasn't been taken seriously about her symptoms. She's then gone back afterwards and she's been put through to a specialist. Well, how long did that take? Because it can take 1 to 2 years for somebody to see a menopause specialist. So before we're lambasting these clinics that are there supporting and helping, let's just ask ourselves why we are in a situation where these women are feeling the need to go and pay privately. And it's because the care isn't there. They can't go to their GP. I find it interesting in one of the instances where the GP said, that's a high dose of HRT. You know what, as a GP, how much training have you had? I'm not saying it isn't a high dose of HRT. What I'm saying is I don't believe that GP has had the training to actually comment on it. I think as a programme, it's missed the mark on what the real issue is. That's my personal perspective on this. Is the real issue is that women are going to their GPs, are turning to people and saying, I am struggling with this, and they are not getting the care that they should get. They're being gaslighted. They're being told it's in their heads. They're imagining it. You're a bit crazy. You're this, that, you're the other. So many women for many years have gone through that and been told that, and then they get desperate, and so they go to private clinics. When I was first going through it, Louise Newson had a 6-month waiting list. She could not keep on top of the people that wanted to speak and needed help. Now, has that gone to a point where maybe there's been decisions made? But what I would say is, and again, I'm not defending this, and I'm not in any way, shape or form underplaying what these women have been through, but just ask yourself, how many women that are going to their GP with symptoms and symptoms of all the different things that these women have gone on to have, or the women had in the first place, and they aren't being looked after by the NHS. So let's not this woman's putting all these women's health at risk, and they should just rely upon what? The NHS? Because you can't rely upon the NHS. And I'm sorry, I love the NHS. I think it's a wonderful thing. Very grateful to all of the people that work in the NHS, but it can't cope. It isn't coping, and people aren't being looked after properly. So, HRT can help so many women. And I can't help but feel like there's a lot of women out there using HRT, feeling stronger, feeling better. And, you know, there's always an agenda with these programs. There's always an agenda. There was an agenda with the ADHD program. You know, heaven forbid people who are at ADHD and have lived their whole life not knowing about it get diagnosed. You know, God, that was awful, that program. And this program could cause so much damage to people who are already on the fence thinking, and then they're going to continue to struggle. And they don't need to continue to struggle. Maybe they just have the lowest dose. Maybe they don't need it. But you know what? Honestly, there's an agenda. They don't like us having HRT. We know that. So if you've watched it and it's sparked any kind of fear whatsoever, one, make sure you do your due diligence on checking for you personally, and make sure that when you're speaking to your GP, you're speaking to your care provider, that you are getting all of the different things tested and looked at that you feel should be. You know, it's a shame. It's in our hands. We have to look after ourselves. But I think don't let a program that will have an agenda. They had 2 women, and devastating. Two's all it needed. I know, I get that. You shouldn't have anybody. But let's just remember how many women are being missed, and how many women are suffering and taking their own lives and going through all kinds of hell because they are not getting the help that they should be getting. And HRT, in so many instances, can help so many women. Don't let it sway that message that we need to get out there, because it's helping so many women.